Ladies and gentlemen, Dex Elliot. Hello. I'm very excited that you're here. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, appreciate you. Appreciate you. Check, check.
Check, check. Okay, so I know that you're from the West and that the West don't mess, but I was curious to know what community, where you actually grew up, what community you're from, and what kind of kid you were.
I grew up in Gardena, California, and I would say I was a good kid. I was into sports, really good athlete.
What sports?
Basketball. I boxed a little bit. Football, everything. I was into every sport, and I was real disciplined. But as time went on, being in the environment I was in, unfortunately, I started gangbanging, became a gang member. And
how? Like, I mean, how were you approached by people, or like you just saw it and it fascinated you? Like, how did you become a gang member?
Yeah, it's just like I said, unfortunately, a lot of young black males living in urban communities see it, or whether you directly approached by it or not, it's all around you, and it's kind of the peer pressure, you know, of being a part or not being a part. All your friends are gangbanging, all your friends are part, all your friends claiming the set. So I kind of got sucked into that. But the ironic thing about it is I was a hardcore gangbanger. As a teenager, but at the same time, I maintained my discipline. I still was really, in athletics and being health conscious, thinking, so it was this contrast. I wasn't like everybody else that was in it. So, yeah.
Okay. So, I heard, I was interested to know, like,
check it out.
Sorry, but you said your mother was in law enforcement, right?
Yeah. So my mom I went to Henry Clay Junior High School, and Henry Clay was notorious back in the day for gang activity, and it was really had a bad reputation.
Yeah.
And because my mom was in law enforcement, she had connections to some of the people that were there that also had connections to law enforcement, so they were able to give her information that I wasn't aware of about my activity, and they informed her that I was a gang member. Because what I would do, I would go home, I would come to school in my khakis, and I would be my Pendleton shirt, dressed kind of normal. You know what I mean? Because I would unbutton the top of my shirt, I would pull my khakis up from sagging. So my mom had no idea that she was, basically buying me gang attire. And I was, I had all the gear, the crocus sacks, the Romeos, house shoes. I was really that dude as far as, but she didn't understand what that wardrobe was.
Yeah.
And when I came home, I put the blue rag in my pocket, I'd hide it, everything that showed any sign of gangbanging, she didn't see it. So she found out directly through them.
Did you have her fooled? Like she didn't?
Oh, she was completely fooled.
Oh, wow.
And so until they informed her, and she confronted me, her and my stepdad. And a year and a half after that.
Was she disappointed?
She wasn't happy at all. And they decided to move us out of that community about a year and a half after that. And then maybe it was about 4 years after that, or 5, my best friend was murdered. So it's just
I'm sorry,
it was the best thing that could have happened to me, even though I moved from Gardena. Were you
still in contact with him at that point?
Oh, all the time. He came out and stayed with me. He was actually on the run from other cats trying to kill him, and he came and stayed with me for about 6 months, and we talked all the time. And so after he got killed, it was it took years and years. I still to this day never got over it. You never get over it, you just learn to deal with it.
Yeah.
But the transition from Gardena to Valencia was from gangbanging to dealing with racism, and I was called an N-word for the first time by racist white people in that community.
Why?
Because it's a racist community.
Just out of nowhere.
Just calling you at the bus stop, waiting to go to school was the first time, and carpool by, go back to Africa, nigger. You know what I mean? And so that was all like a culture shock for me. And so I went from gang banging, fighting in Gardena to beating up racist white dudes in my high school in Valencia. And I gained a reputation for, fighting and beating people up. And by my senior year, I was the homecoming king.
That's dope.
So I beat my way to popularity.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. And how do you severed all ties with with your gangbanging friends? We were just beating people up, but were you still a gang member, or?
Yeah, I mean, it took me probably several years before I actually totally denounced and detached myself from that lifestyle.
Okay.
Because I tell people, gangbanging is like a curse.
Yeah.
And it's like when it gets you, you're not even aware how much it's affecting you, how much it's connected to your soul.
Yeah.
And until me, it was a spiritual awakening. Learned about Malcolm X, learned about the Black Panther Party, learned about real in depths of my history. And at the time, I was a Christian, so it was a combination of all of that that brought me to a new understanding of what my purpose in life was. And yeah, that changed my life completely.
What was it about? I love Malcolm X too. What was it about Malcolm X specifically? Because I've heard him reference him many times in your music that inspired you. What was it?
Everything. I mean, mainly his transition from Malcolm Little, Detroit Red, being a pimp and all this hustler lifestyle, to finding the Most High and his complete transition, and really becoming his true purpose. I related to that, 100%. And then
I don't even like. Oh, sorry. I don't like to call him that name because it makes me angry, because I mean he denounces it and doesn't want to give it the time of day, but like it kind of makes me mad whenever I see like somebody this day that harbors that last name, or like if like sometimes like a Disney show or something will like they have like animations with the last name Little,
right.
and it's like they're laughing in your face, and it's like I feel like that should be, I don't know, that name, it's super, I don't think it should even, I don't know, exist, but yeah, sorry.
That's right.
Yeah, okay, but were there any other activists that inspire you?
Yeah, I mean, Stokely Carmichael, who became Kwame Ture, Fred Hampton, big time, Huey P. Newton, big time, Angela Davis, who I met a few years ago, big time. The list goes on and on. I mean, all those people. Marcus Garvey was a big influence. All of them. They're just, that generation of people, what they did, the sacrifices they made. To me, I think it's a shame that us as Black people, we look to all these so-called legends and people that are influencers that have no real character, no real substance in comparison to the people that died for us, that showed us the blueprint of what we can be and who we are. So I think it's a shame that we don't pick up the baton and follow it and really be the excellent people that we are bred to be.
Yeah, because there is really beautiful guides, but yeah, they're not amplified. You're right. But you do a really good job of keeping your focus in your music and making sure that that your music has amazing substance and a point and helps give guidance and direction to people. Like I'm very fascinated by it.
Appreciate it.
I also that there was your film that you directed, The King of the Underground.
Right.
It's hip hop and storytelling, but what inspired you to tell that particular story? I know it is a cult favorite, and what message did you want it to convey to your audience?
Yeah, King of the Underground was it was really like I was just kind of experimenting at first. I mean, it was loosely based on my life. Mm-hmm. I sold like about maybe close to 300,000 CDs at the trunk of my car, nice. Over the years, state to state, and I was a real hustler as far as my music.
8-hour days, like on the street.
Yeah, directly at the trunk. We did shows and everything else, but mainly at the trunk. And so it was based on all those encounters I had, all those years of dealing with people, interactions. Mm-hmm. I had I've had 3 record deals as well. So my industry interactions and my anger about the industry. So I think the best way sometimes to deal with anger is comedy. So it was a dark comedy. You know what I mean? That kind of addressed a lot of the angst that I had about the industry at that time.
I'm gonna ask you about your journey to your first record deal, but first, okay, I'm gonna swing back and go to so yeah, when did you first fall in love with music, and who were your early musical influence, and can you remember the first song or album that you became obsessed with?
Yeah, I first fell in love with music when I was a young kid, and I give a lot of credit to my stepdad. Rest in peace. We had like the old, the jukebox, the wooden jukebox record player, the furniture. It's like the furniture with the play vinyl. And he would always play like Marvin Gaye, Curtis Mayfield, Otis Redding, Aretha Franklin, all the classics.
Yeah.
And I first fell in love with Marvin Gaye. And I really related to his music like a lot.
Really?
And I remember I would sit in my room and listen to music and cry just because the music would move me emotionally, like just what was being said and the feeling of the music. So it was really a deep connection. And I still have that connection to this day. And then I discovered.
What song specifically?
Or
song?
All
the
just
albums.
The Lover, what's going on. The list goes on.
Yeah, it's just.
A lot of the songs that aren't popular as well. But then I discovered Prince years after that, and I just blew my mind. Prince blew my mind.
Yeah.
And I felt like the combination between Marvin Gaye, Prince, and then in hip hop, when Public Enemy was a huge influence. So, those are like.
So it wasn't rap artists that first inspired. That interesting. So do you remember the first time that you started writing? Was it a song? Was it a rap? And
I was writing poetry. I started writing poetry, and then I realized I could turn my poetry into rhymes, into songs, and that's what started in poetry. Is poetry.
When did you first perform? Were you timid? Were you a natural performer? Like, were you always confident? Or
I was always pretty confident.
Really?
Yeah. I just had that, I guess, in me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just went for it. I wasn't. Yeah, it was like a natural. It took me a while to get good at what I was doing. I was a good writer, but as far as because what happened with me is when I moved from Gardena to Valencia, a lot changed. How I talk. I went from talking real, like, if you listen to me talk when I lived in Gardena, opposed to how I ended up talking years later in Valencia is night and day. I became more proper, more clear with my diction. Gardena, I sound like a little hood gangster dude. And I tell people it's like, I remember going back to Gardena and my friends like, yo, cuz, you sound like Oreo, cuz, what's up, Tuck? They call me Tuck, that's my nickname.
What?
Tuck? King Tuck.
Oh, Tuck.
Yeah, and then I would go back to the white neighborhood, and they'd be like, I said, yo, where we finna go? What does finna mean, dude? So it's like I had this cultural clash, and it was forcing me to be aware of how I talk. So.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, interesting. Do you still turn that on and turn it on and off like?
Absolutely. I think that's a big part of what helps me, what influenced me that shaped me as an artist. Having that ability to communicate. The hood is in me; it never leaves. But it's about being able to communicate your ideas and your thoughts and your authenticity. You know what I mean? You don't abandon who you are. You keep all aspects of who you are. And then that other side of me of being in that more white, suburban environment, that's still in me as well. You know what I mean? So it plays its part as well.
Yeah, most definitely. So what inspired the name of your media company? Is it because brown rice is more nutritious than white rice? No, really, what?
Yeah, that, because I was really into health, being health conscious, and and the fact that brown rice is, that in itself is kind of dope, but it's a synonym for Black, real, original, wise, Nubians reversing ignorance, commanding elevation. So so it has a dual meaning, and therefore there's a universal meaning Be real, original, wise, new, reverse ignorance, command, elevation. That's more of a universal, because it's not so much
That's
about
awesome.
only being black. It's about anybody that embraces, the movement and consciousness. I'm always inviting.
Yeah. Okay, that's awesome. I like those acronyms.
These lights just have a cool door. They're doing what they want to do. Have a mind of their own. These lights.
How do you feel about the current climate of the hip hop culture?
Mixed feelings. I've always been an outsider speaking against what I see that bothers me about hip hop. It's like a love hate.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I see the beauty of it. I love it. I'm so passionate about it. But then I see just the ugliness of it. That we've embraced ideologies and thoughts that our oppressor, programmed us to think, and we embrace it.
Yeah.
And we not only embrace it, but we now are the ones that, we subject our people to this mentality, and we're proud of it. So it's a love hate.
Yeah. I do agree with you. Okay, yeah. Interesting. Yeah. That was heavy. Like I want to speak, but I have more questions for you about that. But yeah, that's a really good perspective. What is the longest break that you have taken from music, and what inspired you to dive back in? And what did you do during that time?
I don't think I ever took a real break.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? There's been times where I wasn't in the studio, and I was, focused on maybe acting at different times.
Okay.
Throughout my time, but then ultimately, music always calls me back. Acting is the secondary thing that I did.
Mm-hmm.
Acting came out of music, or from music, and but music is who I am. Acting is what I do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I always come back to music because it's my voice, and it's my truth. And acting, especially now with Hollywood and so many agendas trying to, emasculate the black male with all these, they want to put us in a dress. They don't want to. There's no real heroes. You have Will Smith and you have Anthony Mackie now with the hero characters and Michael B. Jordan and Denzel. But the point I'm saying is, you can, on one hand, you can say how many black men, and women are allowed to be, heroes. Still this, this whitewashed industry. They want to keep us marginalized. So music, you can be what the hell you want to be. You can be yourself. You can say, yo, fuck white supremacy, black power. You can be everything who you are, and you can be the superhero that you know you are.
Not just the friend.
Yeah. You don't gotta wait for them to to say, okay, you can do this. No, you do what you do what you do.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's beautiful. So you've had major roles in major TV shows and films like The Shield, Babylon 5, The Last Action Hero, among others. How has your approach to acting evolved over the years?
My approach
to your roles.
It's a good question. I just think I've always just been natural and I'm somewhat of a method actor, because when I'm in a character, I really literally go there. I don't really like talking to other actors. And, I kind of like that. That works for me because I get to let out that raw kind of like, I don't give a fuck attitude.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can curse in there, but I'm kind of cursing. So yeah, I like it. It works for me. Mm-hmm. Method acting works for me for sure.
Yeah. Just stay honest. Okay, I love that. What role pushed you the most creatively, and what did you learn from it?
Well, one role I was challenged. I did this movie called Little John. And I had to learn how to play the sax.
Yeah. Sorry, no, sorry.
The trumpet. And not that Little John.
No.
And I had to learn how to play the trumpet as good as I possibly could in that short amount of time. So yeah, that was
Oh,
challenging.
whoa.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was a short amount of time, so I had to be believable playing
Oh,
the trumpet.
wow. Okay.
So, yeah, that stands out. There's others, but that stands out.
So now you can play trumpet sometimes?
No.
You never pull
No,
it out
no.
at parties? No.
Nah. But at that time,
Yeah.
I could have faked and made
Yeah.
you believe I did.
That's cool. Okay, as someone who has acted, directed, and produced, which role do you feel the most home in, and how do these disciplines influence one another in your work?
I love them all, but directing kind of encompasses everything I do. You know, acting, writing, the musical aspect of it, leadership. You know,
Yeah.
so I definitely love directing, but music is my number one passion. So I'll say directing
Okay.
is my second, and then acting is the third.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But on any given day, you know what I mean? The acting and directing kind of,
Yeah.
they kind of fight with each other. I love them both, but music is number one for sure.
You could act and direct at the same time, so.
Yeah, well, I do.
Yeah.
Most of my stuff, I direct all my own stuff, yeah.
Yeah, okay, so that's cool. So independent filmmaking comes with many challenges. Can you share with a time when you had to adapt on the fly to make a project work?
And what's the last part?
When you've had to adapt on the fly to make a project work and it actually worked, like a
Yeah,
specific
all
example.
of my projects,
Okay.
because most of them are guerrilla shoots. So, but King of the Underground has a lot of unique stories because we're just out there, just in the thick of it. Like, I remember shooting in the jungle, and these P stones came up, rolled up on us, just hardcore, like a mob of them, and start banging on us in the middle of the shoot. So I just stopped and just let them do their thing, and I was like, what's up? And they're like, what's up? Where you from? I was like, yeah, we're doing this movie, man. He said, where you from? I said, yo, we're doing this movie, man. You want to be in it? He said, and the dude was looking at me like, my name is Time Bomb, homie. I was like, what's up, Mr. Time Bomb? I said, you want to be in the shot, man? You dope, man. You got a good look for this part right now. That's how, and I basically, I defused the situation, de-escalated it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He didn't really know what to do with the energy that I was giving him. Because I didn't give him nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So and the homeboys just kind of standing down, and ultimately they just ended up just leaving. But it was, looking back in retrospect, I was taking some real penitentiary chances, just going right to the jungle, no permits, setting up in their hood and just shooting. I knew one person there, but that was that's the boldness of just, when you want it, you just go get it,
Wow.
and it worked out.
True guerrilla.
I don't recommend anybody to do that, though.
Really?
That's not a good idea.
Good job, though.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So, wow, that's crazy.
Real talk, real true stories.
Whoa.
Yep.
And he just left of all of it?
Yeah, they just left. After like I say, he banged on me. I didn't give him nothing to work with. And I just kept on complimenting him. So, yo, you should think about acting, dog. You got a good vibe.
Was the rest of the crew?
They just standing down. They was kind of doing throwing their flags,
and once they left, they were ready to restart. Like they didn't.
They left.
They
We just kept on shooting.
Okay.
Yeah,
you got
we finished
bold,
it.
Bold cast too. Then that's awesome. So you started in the industry at a young age. So what piece of advice do you wish that you had received early in your career?
I wish I would have start writing and directing immediately, because that was, me and a friend of mine who became a real big director. He got started through me. I was the one that pulled him into it, and they all said, "Man, you should be a director." But I wasn't even thinking about directing. That was like the last thing I was thinking about. It was just I was doing it out of necessity.
Yeah.
And he was passionate about it, but I really would have really been more focused on writing and directing. You know what I mean? Early.
What brings you the most joy in life?
Talking to my mom. My mom's my best friend, so having her here still.
Yeah.
I talk to her like 3 times a day, which is crazy.
That's awesome.
But just talking to my mom, that brings me the most joy. I always say that's the best blessing the Most High ever gave me was having a mom like my mom. So.
Yeah, I talk to my mom a lot too. That's beautiful. I love that. Do you have any unexpected hobbies? Or ways that you like to spend your time that might surprise your fans?
I'm a loner. A lot of people don't probably think that, but I always say I'm a popular loner. I've always been kind of popular, but I've always been a loner at the same time. So I relate to outcasts. I relate to loners because that's who I am at heart. You know, I mean, I like being by myself in my solitude, creating, and I love martial arts, love fighting.
Martial arts.
So
What style?
Muay Thai.
Muay Thai.
But I love all styles. But Muay Thai is what I study. And but that's not that might not be a surprise. Maybe the loner thing.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's cool. Okay. What can fans expect from you in the near future, and any last thoughts or words of wisdom to share?
My name is Dex, as you know, and the synonym for my name is determination, elevation, X unknown. So I always say, you know, I really don't expect, or you can't expect, because I don't know how far. I have no idea how far this is going to go. You know, the Most High only knows. I'm just on a mission, focused, and but I definitely predict elevation, constant elevation. And the advice I give people is just stay true to yourself. You know, don't sell out. You know, and if you don't know who you are, get alone, spend time by yourself, and find out who you are, because that's the best thing you can do for your life, for your well-being, for everything. That's the best thing a person can do is find yourself, and you can't do it amongst noise in the crowd. You only find yourself when you're by yourself. So that's it.
Yes, that's beautiful. Yeah, you have to be able to enjoy that time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Such a pleasure. You are a super refreshing artist that I really respect, and I can't wait to follow more. Thank you for what you do, and yeah, you're important, amazing, a king, and thank you for coming and spending time with me, and this was great.
I appreciate you. Thank you. Much love.
We have questions from online. Are you comfortable with taking questions?
Me?
Mr. Elliot, you comfortable with taking questions?
I'm sorry?
Are you comfortable taking questions?
Yes.
So it is Leslie Prophet is tuning in. She wants to say, first of all, I love you, King. Been following you for years. Glad to see that you're still on the grind. When's your next track dropping?
I dropped the track yesterday.
Hey.
Tell her to check it out on and I appreciate you, Queen. Thank you very much. But I dropped the track called Wake Up yesterday. And a few weeks ago, I dropped another track called damn, I'm tired. Not Different. Different was one of the first ones I dropped. I got Different out. I got Represent. I got Not Again. And I just dropped Wake Up. So all those are kind of back to back. So check all those out on YouTube and Instagram. YouTube shadow bans my material, so it's important if you follow me to subscribe, comment, and share, because they literally are shadow banning my shit. And they've done a lot of real janky stuff. They don't want conscious artists to be heard. They want to keep us marginalized. And they want to keep our pages suppressed. So it's up to the people to really support and be very intentional with your support, with liking and sharing and commenting. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. That was amazing. And yeah, follow him. And follow, like, share, and comment on this video, please.
Out the Trunk Films, Brown Rice Entertainment, Dex Elliot on YouTube. Dex Elliot 1 on Instagram. And King Dex on TikTok. And Dex Elliot on Facebook.
Yay!